and welcome to Ask Me About K-Pop, the essential guide for recent converts and seasoned fans alike. My name is Shannon, and I am joined today on this lovely day with my best friend, Angelica. Angelica, how are you today?
I'm so excited. I can't believe that we're finally getting a chance to do this episode. I am head to toe, fully decked out in all my favorite bias gear.
Yep.
I've got the beautiful shirt that you made for me, which is now missing TVXQ, but that's the only person that it's missing. I've got my Mino socks on. I've got my Chanyeol pillow here to protect me and to keep me company. I even have my Chanyeol lotion in my purse. Like, I am...
You ready?
Ready.
Awesome. I have a Mino shirt on as well, and the same Mino socks. We took a picture of them in the lobby because it was cute that we wore the same socks. I haven't brought this up yet, but I have more than 30 pairs of shiny socks. It's a thing. I'll get into it. But that we wore the exact same ones is funny. Yeah, we're ready to... We've been teasing this since like episode 1 or 2. Like, we'll do this bias episode, but now it's finally time.
Yay!
So this
Chanyeol is excited.
She's shaking the pillow around. It's super cute. It's the funniest little pillow.
You know, I love it. It doesn't even really look like him. His ears aren't floppy enough, but I like it.
No, it's funny. Okay, so we're getting into a very important part of K-pop fandom, a word that like as soon as you get into K-pop, you start seeing all over the place.
Yeah, it's usually even listed, like we've mentioned member profiles very often for when you're getting to know a group. And usually at the bottom of a member profile page, it will say like, who is your blah, blah, blah bias. And it'll have all of the members
and it's like
listed.
A poll or whatever. Yeah, so that's the very first vocabulary word, which is bias. And I know that previously we had been using like the word like ultimate crush to describe this with it because we didn't want to go into too much detail. But as a listener like pointed out and as we wanted to explain, like I think a bias is a lot more than just like the member you think is the cutest. Like, but that's essentially boiling it down to its simplest terms. The bias is your favorite.
Yeah.
Who's your favorite member of something, but you call it a bias, like you are biased towards them.
Right. And I think that word can mean different things to different people.
Oh, yeah.
In its simplest term, like Shannon just said, it is your favorite. I also described it as like the one who catches your eye and warms your heart. Like if you were in a plane crash, this is the one that you would save.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
The one who you would fish out of the water first.
Yeah. Your bias, your favorite member. So that's pretty simple. Most people have all kinds of biases. And like we said, it can mean many different things to many people. Like, you know, I think you'll see people sometimes like, I've just discovered this group. I think so-and-so is my bias. Like, you know, it's just like the person you pick first, and it can change over time. Like a lot of times you'll talk to like older K-pop fans and they'll be like, oh, so-and-so was my bias. And then this person like became my bias or whatever. Like,
yeah, they can change.
It's not a hard and fast rule. And yeah, it could be the one that you are like the most sexually attracted to, or it could be the one that you want to put in your pocket. And like, there's a lot of different feelings involved, but that it's just that one's your favorite.
Yeah. Your favorite for a variety of reasons. And I think you can obviously have more than one bias, I think, but usually you tend to have only one bias per group.
Yes, I think that's fair. So our next vocabulary word, just to get the vocab out of the way before the gushing begins, is ultimate bias, which is like another step. And I think this means of all of the biases you may have for all of the many groups that you have, like the one person that, like, I was going to make the example of who the one you would save from a fire, but I thought, oh, that seems too dark, like, for biases, because if all of my biases were trapped in a burning house, I would just go in and die with them. Like, if they were like, you can only save one, I'd be like, well, then it's all over, because I wouldn't want to do, like, I wouldn't want to do that.
That would be the...
So in the non-fire example, I feel like in a less harsh example, like, let's say you only have one picture frame. Who's the person you're gonna, you can just pick one. but in a less life or death situation.
Right.
And that's your ultimate bias.
I define my ultimate bias in shiny terms, obviously. I say that they are your one of one.
Yes.
And across all styles and looks, they will always make
always
your
be your
heart flutter.
favorite. Your favorite, ultimate bias. And then the third term, which I think is like a funny one, is bias wrecker. And sometimes people say bias ruiner.
Right.
And this, I think this is like slightly more loosely defined. These usually tend to be like within the group, perhaps, where it's like, so-and-so's my bias, but like I keep looking at so-and-so, he's such a bias wrecker. Like they're coming for your bias. And I feel like, to me, in most cases with bias wreckers, there seems to be like a bit of a horny anger to it.
I said the one that's so cute it makes you angry and bitter in the way that you're sitting there thinking, I didn't want to like you.
Yes. There's definitely like a resentment involved in bias wreckers. Like, because you love them, but like you are trying to give attention and time to your bias and you're like, hey, stop it.
And then they just sort of crash through the wall like the Kool-Aid man and you're suddenly like, excuse you, I was busy over here.
Exactly.
Please get your face away from me.
Yeah. So that's a bias wrecker. I touched on this a long time ago and said that I wasn't going to bring it up, but like it's important and it's got to come up sometime. And these are 4 Korean words that you will see used in fan culture, like whatever you're doing, if you're on Twitter or whatever, you're going to see these words used. So we're going to tell you what they mean. Basically, in Korean speech and social there's hierarchy, and it's based on how old you are in relation to the person that you are talking to. And a lot of these terms are familial. So the term for older brother, if you are a female identified person talking to a male identified person who is older than you, then you would use the word oppa, which means older brother. And then if you were talking to a female person who's older than you and you are identify as a female person, you use the word 언니. Then if you're a male identified person and you're talking to another male older than you, it's 형. And then female older than you, 누나. So these terms come up a lot because despite them meaning technically older brother, older sister,
right?
And you would use those about your actual family members. Right. These also apply to like friends and schoolmates and people that you associate with. You also use these familial terms if you are close with them. And oppa especially comes up in romantic relationships a lot. I feel like Korean dudes like being called oppa.
Yeah.
Like it's like, oh, you're
you're
protecting me or whatever. And it's like totally a thing that like you see in dramas, like the whiny girlfriend trying to get her way will be like, oppa.
And then they melt. Yeah.
So because K-pop fans tend to be a lot younger than their biases or whatever, you will see a lot of like oppa like happening when people are like melting down or talking about their biases.
You'll definitely see it all over YouTube comments on stuff. Like they'll be like, oh, oppa, like why do you do this to me or whatever.
Yeah. I have no oppas. I am too old. I never got to use that word. And I know that it's like a thing that also people find really cringy. Like there are plenty of people who get very upset when people use these terms. Like I don't like them. But I can't use it because I'm too old.
I finally have
And you finally have one. I'm really jealous.
I finally have one. His name is Yuno, and I love him so
You know.
much.
We
I finally know. I finally know, and my life will never be the same. I have watched something of TVXQ every single day since
for weeks. I know.
Loveline came out. Like I don't know what to say. I'm just in love.
Okay.
I'm in love.
So we'll get to that in a second. I just wanted to explain those terms because they definitely come up. So
I'm really glad I brought this pillow.
I know you're hugging it so much. It's like really helping with the feels. Okay, so before we get too much into our own feels and just squeal for a little while, we've been asking you, the listener, for a long time to send us your biases. So we do have some of those collected, and we want to share the biases that y'all took the time to send to us. So let's do this. We're just going to directly read the quotes from you guys, and we'll take turns. So, Angelica, would you like to take this first one?
Sure. This comes from Maya, and she says, I'd say my ultimate bias is probably Amber from FX. As a gay lady, I appreciate her swag so much, and my bias wrecker would be Solar from Mamamoo. She's gorgeous, and I could watch her for hours. I'm also all about BTS's Park Jimin. He's got serious moves, and he's so darn cute.
That's a good one. So this next one is from listener Colleen, who used to be my manager at a job that I had a long time ago. We bonded over K-pop, and she listens to this podcast, which is so sweet. So, hey, Colleen, here's her answers. She says, Sunny from Girls' Generation was my first bias even before the show Roommate that Shannon introduced me to at work. And then I liked her even more. She's sassy and kind. I also have the 3 H's, Hyolyn from Sistar, Hwasa from Mamamoo, and Haylin from EXID. My ultimate bias, though, is Amber from FX. Her humor and sense of style and voice all wrap up to make her my favorite. And she includes, my cockatiel swoop loves K-pop, and he has a bias. If Hani from EXID sings, he gets really excited. He can definitely tell when she's on videos and bowed to the screen, which is a cockatiel courting gesture.
That is the cutest thing I've ever heard. I hope that I want Hani to know that she is a bird fan.
Yeah.
That's just the most precious thing. And also, Colleen, I agree with you. Hwasa is my girl bias. I absolutely adore her. Okay, this next one comes from Steph. She says, over the years, my bias has changed. At one point or another, each member of Big Bang was my favorite, but now I'd have to say that my bias is top. T.O.P.?
I honestly don't know how they say it.
Me either. Anyway, I really love his style and his voice and how he ends up looking like a dork on variety shows because Seungri and Daesung are so much more outgoing than him. And GD Taeyang are just naturally poised. A newer bias I have is Yoon Ji-sung from 101. Not sure if you guys watched Produce 101 Season 2, but he's just so funny and sassy and extra. He made me laugh out loud so many times when I was watching that show right from the very first episode. He's kind of just a living meme.
That's great. This next one is from, I'm going to say mystery listener because they didn't sign their emails and I didn't want to read their email address to identify them. So you know who you are, mystery listener. They said, my ultimate bias group is Luna. I'm sure you can tell from my email. And my bias of the groups are Jinsol from Arai Circle Unit, Chu from the Eden Unit, and Heejin from the 1-3 unit. We just learned about Luna recently. It's a very interesting concept. I don't want to deviate too much, but
we're not going to get into it now, but we'll have to come back to them because I'm truly fascinated and a little disappointed we didn't know about them when we talked about
it was a perfect concept
episode, but we'll come back to them. Anyway, this is our last one.
Yes.
Okay, our last one, and I really, really loved this woman's definition of bias. So her name is Victoria, and she says, to me, my biases are more than just a crush. It's not just people who I'd want to date or imagine myself dating, really. It's the people I find myself drawn to because I respect them so much and feel connected to them in some way, whether it's their performing or their sense of humor, etc. My biases are Super Junior's Donghae, NCT's 10, and Red Velvet's Yeri, followed closely by SHINee's Taemin and 17's Jonghan. Now that I think about it, I think it's usually my bias wreckers who are more like crushes. My biases are the people I want to be best friends with and protect with my whole heart and soul.
That's lovely.
Hear, hear, Victoria.
Lovely sentiment, Victoria. So thank you to everybody who sent us in a bias. It was very fun to hear about the people that you guys love. And I really hope that when this episode comes out, I'm going to make a call on Twitter. I want people to send me their favorite pictures of their bias.
Yes, please. Nobody included any pictures in their emails. Like, they included lovely descriptions, and I really appreciated the fact that almost every person that emailed us listed more than one. Because, like, personally, we have more than one as well. But nobody included pictures, so tweet at us.
Yeah,
send
I
us
want
your
to see your
favorite
pictures. Okay, I guess it's time for us to start getting personal here. I don't know what to do. I'm feeling very sweaty and nervous. I don't know if I'm going to be able to gather my feelings in a way that sounds like anything worth listening to, but
Then let me start. I hope that's okay. All right. So I'm going to start out with my first bias, which is you know, from TVXQ, oppa, my only oppa. I love it. I first noticed him in the Loveline M Countdown comeback stage. And by the time I watched the second comeback stage of that, which was Chance of Love, or I should say the second performance on that stage, by the time he was smacking dancers' butts in Chance of Love, I was gone. And then I watched Kingpin Bowling. Shannon and I watched the Kingpin Bowling, which was Yuno and Changmin versus Chanyeol and Jongdae, which those two I'm also going to talk about. I was like overwhelmed.
It was just for you. Like they made that just for you.
I know. It was amazing. It's like if Mino had been there instead of Changmin, I think my head would have exploded. But I knew that my love for Yuno was real when I paid more attention to him in that than I did to Chanyeol.
Yeah, that's serious.
So that was real.
I just wanted to find these texts from the other day of when we were talking about this because you said, where is it? Oh, okay. So you just like texted me like, oh my God, like TVXQ, Chance of Love just nailed me in my coffin. Like, wow. I need to hear everything I've ever done. And I wrote back, Max is so hot now. And I was like, oh, an oppa for me. But guess what? I'm literally 1 day older than him. Truly, single day.
Close.
And then you said, I love that you were looking at Max because caught my eye like I was seeing him for the first time. And I just wanted to read that out because
he did. I don't know. I just swooned instantly because in the live stage performances of Loveline, it's Changmin starts singing and then Yuno is standing behind him and then he like peeks out. And as soon as he peeked out, and like my heart stopped and I was forever changed. So then I watched, when I really, I think officially fell was when I watched I Live Alone, which is a fun concept for a variety show, but it's basically just like they find idols or celebrities that live alone and they just like for 1 day set up the cameras in their house and just like record what it's like when they live alone. And so TVXQ was on it in a way to promote their most recent comeback. And Yuno is just like such a delightfully embarrassing weirdo, from when he like woke up in the morning on his couch, like, and he said like, well, I have a bed, but for some reason I always just end up on my couch. And he wakes up and immediately starts dancing to his own songs, like just puts on his own music videos and like dances full out as though he was on stage, makes himself an audience of stuffed animals so that he has someone to dance for. And then he spends his morning like eating breakfast and watching the Home Shopping Network. And he's sitting at this like old-fashioned style
his
like
furniture is the worst.
I loved it. I really loved
it. Was
his
like
low-tech
I was
lifestyle.
waiting for him to say that like he had gotten it all at an estate sale when an 80-year-old died.
It does look like
because it's
his
not
grandpa's
charming
house.
Vintage furniture. It's like ugly vintage furniture, but it's so it's like adorably him.
It looks like my
it.
aunt's house, and
Yeah.
like it just, I love him. And he's just like sitting at this boardroom table with like these huge high-backed chairs, like in his glasses and his t-shirt, watching
the portrait of the Last Supper above
watching
him.
the Home Shopping Network, and I love him. I love him so much. The favorite things about, or I guess like why I love him, I love his smile and I love the lines on his face. Like I know that might sound like a weird thing to say, but when he smiles, he has these like really deep eye wrinkles and they warm my heart in a way I never thought somebody would. He's so kind. Like he seems really caring.
He loves charity, like we said in our
does
episode.
love charity. And on the Kingpin Bowling, like he just was there to like, he was there to win, but he was also just like genuinely having such a good time. And at a certain point in that episode, Changmin and Jongdae switch teams, and Yuno just like immediately embraced Jongdae in like such a bear hug and was like, "Oh, I'm so glad to have you on our team," because Jongdae and Changmin were our bad bowlers, and so like Chanyeol was like really losing his mind at Jongdae because he like kept getting gutter balls, and but so then like they switch, and then Yuno was just like, "Yeah, I'm so happy that you're here," and he was just like, "I don't know, my heart pitter pattered." Favorite comebacks, favorite styles, I guess. I loved his blonde hair in Loveline. I really like the blue black that it is now. But in the last 2 weeks, I have deep dived. I've seen it all. I love it all, anime hair included. I'm here for him.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful. Okay, I guess I will. Who's a bias I can talk about without getting into? Let me talk about Yixing. Okay, so this is also known as EXO's Lay. Real name Zhang Yixing. He's from China, and he's been on TV since he was a very little boy. He's just like
But he's always had the exact
star.
same face.
Yes, he has. And the first time I remember seeing him, it was one of those times where it was like I had seen him a million times, and then one day I saw him, which is so weird. But it was the Call Me Baby video.
Yep.
Which I had watched like since it came out. I liked the song and was like aware of it being a cool video. I liked the dance, but I only knew one EXO member, which was Kai. Didn't know about the rest of them. I also was scrolling through a bunch of our very old Facebook messengers today to like look if there was like if I'd ever said anything bias funny. And in like 2015, we were like several times we had typed about different things. Like I hate EXO. And one of us would be like, I know, I hate them so much. But like not in a playful, like, oh, like we say now, like, I hate EXO. Like, no, we hated them. We hated them.
Don't call us out like that. Oh, for
I'm
shame.
sorry. I know, but it's like that's how times can change. So anyway, I was watching Call Me Baby, video I'd seen a million times. But one time when he appears in his black basketball jersey with a hoodie underneath and his blonde Justin Bieber hair, and I'd never seen anyone so beautiful before. And he winks and he grinds. He's so.
Shannon is just like staring at the ceiling and like trying to collect her thoughts, and I think failing
because I don't know what to say.
This is going to be an interesting episode for your husband to edit for us.
I know, right? It'll be really fun. I'm so glad he gets to hear all of this. Whatever. So that was the first time I remember noticing him. And then
what made you fall for him? Like when you fall for because that made you notice his looks. What made you fall for his personality? I find his, I feel like the time that I like knew that I was truly gone was when I watched that, video of what is the Chinese version of Running Man called? Go Fighting. And he's very scared of birds. And I think watching him freak out about the birds is like what really endeared me to him, because I feel like at first I probably would have just categorized him as maybe more of like a bias wrecker, because I really do. But because honestly, I think one of the things that draws me to Lay the most is that he's just so sexy. He's so sexy, and like everything he does is so sexy. She's gonna break the table and pounding on it.
But also he, like I think it's mostly like a language barrier thing, but I feel like I find him kind of like cold and mysterious in a way, which is mostly just because he like isn't listening to anybody, and he like doesn't know because he's not going to try to participate in the conversation because he doesn't speak Korean that well. Yeah, so he usually has like a checked out look on his face that I kind of love.
It's funny for Lay because, like we said, he's Chinese, and so Korean is not his first language.
Like his third language.
Yeah, and so when people start talking really quick, when he's on a variety show or makes an appearance with EXO, which hasn't happened in a while, but he will. You can always tell, like at first he's listening really hard, and you can like see the kind of confused look on his face, and then at a certain point, when people start talking too fast and they start talking over each other, he just stops. Yeah. He just gives up and is like staring off into space, and then someone will say something to him and he gets that like dopey like, what? I'm here. What'd you say?
Yeah.
And he's adorable.
I find his personality is like kind of confusing because he's like a lot of different people, like depending on where he is and where he's around. I also love whenever he gives speeches, like even if the speech is like a kind encouraging speech, he points his finger like a dad who is angry at you, and he looks like he means so much business, and I really like it. He is a butt grabber, which he got called out on. Like that's another endearing moment.
Many times he gets called out on that.
The first time it happened though, like he was on something with like Minseok, and he's like, "Oh, Lay's always like grabbing people's butts," and then he like got this like sad wide-eyed look, and he's like, do you guys not grab your friends' butts here? And everybody's like, no. And he's like, oh no, did I make everybody so, and he like felt so bad, and they were like rubbing his back. They're like, it's okay, man, it's okay. You can touch our butts if you want to. But I did one of these for everybody all of my biases, but just real quick, this is what his laugh sounds like. And I just really like that. He's really, really precious to me. I don't know.
That's such a good idea because all of them, I guess people just have silly laughs. I know, like, listening to these episodes, I always, like, laugh at my own laugh, but I love watching every boy that I am going to mention. I love hearing them laugh.
Yeah.
Because
I wonder if it's just like part of the like love is like hearing them laugh and hearing them be joyful. Like,
but
makes
also
me feel
because their
joyful.
laughs are super dorky.
Yeah.
Like every single one of them has like a really dorky laugh or like something about their laugh that is like funny, whether it's really loud or really high pitched or like it always accompanies a fall on the floor, like whatever it is.
Yeah.
That was a good thinking, bringing that up.
So just so we can move on to another person and I can stop like flailing and trying to describe my feelings. A favorite era, that's something we made each other write down so we could stay on topic. A favorite era would be his What You Need, Lose Control era. He had a perm and it was really, really nice. His hair was black and like it looked really, really good.
Kind of short on the sides, but long
on
top.
And permed and very pretty. And another favorite look of mine is I call it sweater kitchen lay from the Sheep video because he's so many different costume. Like there are so many costumes and sets and weird things happening in that video. And there's a couple of shots of him just being in a kitchen and he's wearing a very big sweater and he just. That's a thing that we could maybe bring up. That's like a hashtag boyfriend look.
Oh yeah.
Which is like a thing in bias culture. Like whenever the idol is dressed like a normal person and not dressed like an idol, like wearing clothes that someone would really wear, like a hoodie or a jeans.
And I feel like usually it has something like it's something cuddly looking.
Yeah, something kind of oversized
and
like
soft.
a sweater. Yeah, that's a boyfriend look.
Chanyeol lives in those.
Yes. So those are my favorite Yixing's. He's been the background of my phone for a little while, which like I've been feeling kind of guilty about. Like, I don't know. I feel like sometimes my feelings for Lay like border on bias wrecker, because my love for him is deep and pure. But also sometimes I feel a little bad about it because we'll get into it. We'll get into it. But like, I feel like I have like my ultimate bias is really, really, really important to me. And so sometimes even thinking about or talking about other people, I feel like I'm being disloyal. And that might just be me. But that's that.
Chanyeol makes me feel like that.
Yeah.
But we'll talk about him later. For now, I'm going to talk about Jongdae, because he's another person that I consider to be a bias, not an ultimate or a bias wrecker, but just a bias. I first noticed Jongdae, I guess I should say he's from EXO.
Yeah, I was about to be like, wait, who is this?
Kim Jongdae, aka Chen from EXO, specifically EXO-M, the loves of my life. I made myself cry this morning because I'm dumb.
No, explain yourself.
Okay, so this morning I woke up and I was just like, I don't like watching the news because it makes me upset. So instead I watch K-pop. And I started out watching some like fun variety shows of TVXQ. And then I went on and I watched EXO on Immortal Song. And then I started watching EXO-M videos because I love Jongdae so much. And when he and Beck sing that song on Immortal Song, it like makes me cry. So I got a little teary-eyed like watching him belt out the most beautiful song in the world. And a song which I don't know the title of. And then I started watching EXO-M and I watched them sing Neurotic by TVXQ. And then I watched them do Overdose and My Lady and I got like 10 EXO-M videos in and then like was crying in my kitchen table.
Oh, no.
And sat up and was like, bitch, you have shit to do. And like made myself wash the dishes. But yeah, my EXO misery will never end. Anyway, I first noticed Jungdae in Call Me Baby, which we've mentioned before is like peak hotness for I think all 10 of those members. Like they look so good in that video. But Jungdae has, I love long curly haired Chen. I just absolutely adore it. And he has really great hair in Call Me Baby. I would say the first time I truly fell for him though was in the Lucky One Monster comeback because that was when I learned all of their names.
That's when we turned. I think that's when our EXO, like we turned.
Yeah, we turned because Call Me Baby came out and we were still like, fuck you, EXO. I don't want to pay attention to you. Like, don't make me love you. And then Lucky One came out and they were like, you're going to love us, whether you like it or not. And we did. So I fell for him. He has even longer hair in Monster, which I adored. Because like I said, I love a long curly haired Chen. But I specifically remember the moment that I was like, yes, was a photo shoot that I don't even know what magazine it's for, but it's a photo shoot in which he has curly hair, it's black, and he's wearing a blue sweater that says in like white letters across his chest like 1970 or something like that.
You're literally touching it right now.
Yeah.
Like she ran her hand across her chest and her fingers are touching the very picture she was talking about.
And it's just him in a sweater, like against a brick wall. But there's one picture in this photo shoot that's from behind, and he has his arms like above his head, and it's just his back, and his back is so pretty. You could like see the muscles through the sweater, and I was just like, who is that? And I was so pretty. So that came out, and then because of him, I got super into CBX. I talked about Hey Mama last week. Such a great video. Jungdae with glasses is a look that works for me. Once I got into EXO, like when Lucky One and Monster came out, and I decided like, okay, I'm gonna learn all your names, and I'm gonna like actually stan you for real. Because of him, I love XOM. So like we've talked about XOM before, and like how were the two factions or whatever. Like I am an XOM fan. And it is because of Jungdae. And because of Jungdae and because of XOM, my heart will forever be broken because they no longer exist. Yeah. But their versions are some of my favorite versions, like the ones I just mentioned, Neurotic, My Lady, Overdose. Then Coco Bop came out. And Blonde came on the scene. And he again had curly hair, but this time it was blonde. And he does that move. There's that part in the Coco Bop dance where he's singing and he's in the middle and he does that like body roll leg move. And he's like singing and his hand is going down and he's wearing like a pinstriped shirt. And
it's like way
love
too long.
It. Yeah, and it's too long.
It's like
and
sleeves are floppy.
I love it. The body roll. And then Coco Bop came out, and that was like what sealed me in my EXO coffin. And so I went back to watch everything they'd ever done, and I watched EXO Showtime. And Jungdae walking into that haunted house, dancing into the haunted house in which he strolls through it, not a shiver, a jump, or a peep of fear out of him. And he hands little pocket hand warmers to all of the staff that are there
hiding
to scare him,
them
so that their hands can be warm. And he comes out like he just strolled through a meadow. And I realized that he's the kind of person, I want to be that person.
Yeah.
I would like to be the kind of person that strolls through
That's
a haunted
like so
house.
fearless. Yeah.
Whistling a happy tune.
That's beautiful.
I love you, Jungdae.
Oh. Okay, I should go next. I will talk about my very first bias ever, and that's Bomi from A-Pink. She was the first voice that I noticed. Like when I heard my first A-Pink song, I like noticed her voice because it was so interesting. And when I finally because I heard an A-Pink song on Pandora before I'd ever seen them, so then I like looked up a performance or whatever and like put a face to the name or face to the voice. And she's just like, she's so cute. She's like, and she's such a beautiful person. And her singing voice is like very, very interesting and kind of like breathy and small. But her speaking voice is like mine. It's like low. And I've just always been so fascinated with how I think she's their dance captain, or what did we call that? Main dancer, and one of the main singers of A-Pink. So I was always so intrigued by how she's so like poised and perfect on stage, and she like dances so well, and she like has the perfect face, and she's like always like, you know, just like this perfect poised pop star. But off stage, she is truly the weirdest person. And I like unabashedly weird too. Cause I feel like, you know, sometimes you'll see, especially like female idols, but the guys do it too, do something vaguely embarrassing, you know, like make your voice funny or like do a weird dance. And as soon as they finish it, they like cover their eyes with their hands. Like they just can't even believe that they did it. And they're just so embarrassed. I have never seen Bomi do that ever. And she does this, she can run like a gorilla. Like she does this really intense like gorilla run. And when they first debuted, she was like doing it on TV all the time. And you'd think that it would be like, oh my God, y'all were like perfect fairy idol teens. Like you're supposed to look pretty all the time, and she is like not concerned with that at all, which I've always appreciated. Like I just really like how out there she is, but she's also very easily startled, and she cries a lot, and I relate to that as a person who cries a lot. My favorite Bomi era is Mr. Chu era. She had really, really long hair with the most perfect blonde ombre that was so pretty and so perfect that I got an ombre that summer because I wanted my hair to look as good as Bomi's did. It got pretty close. We both had very good hair that summer. Yeah. So that's my very first bias.
Fun.
Bomi.
So I'm to my last two. So would you like me to talk about my bias wrecker first, or would you like me to talk about my ultimate bias?
Let's do wreckers.
Okay. So my bias wrecker is in my lap right now. His name is Park Chan-yeol, and I hate him, but I love him. Which is pretty much the definition of a bias wrecker, the one that is like obnoxious. Adorable. So I first noticed him when I was watching EXO Showtime, actually. So this was that is a very old show that came out when there was still all 12 of them. But I did not watch it until Kpop came out in the summer of 2017, because that was when I was like, okay, I need to know everything about you. So I started watching EXO Showtime, and one of the first episodes, it's his birthday. And so all of the members go out and they need to buy him a present, and they pair off and they just abandon him like in the streets of wherever they are because they need to buy a present, and he's not supposed to know that they're buying them presents. So he keeps like showing up being like, hey guys, like there you are, I was looking for you. And they're like, shit. And they like run out the door and he turns around, he's like, where'd you go? And so he's just like a silly lost baby. But then later he had to try and guess so like he goes into a room and he's all by himself and like all of the presents are laid out, and the producers tell him that he has to guess who got him each present, and if he gets it wrong, he doesn't get to keep the present. And he was so stressed that it like endeared, and he's wearing these like big fake glasses. I love a dude in glasses. And like he's wearing these big fake glasses, and he's just like, it just really endeared me to him. And then so that's when I like first started to notice him. I started falling again when like later in that same series, he's the one that like does most of the cooking. He like cooks for everybody in the house. He seems to be the most adept in the kitchen as well. And one of the moments that he is cooking, he asks Jongdae to call his mom because they have like a question about the cooking, and Chanyeol calls her Oma, and she's like, good luck, my son. And it just like warmed my heart into a million pieces. Plus, in that same series, there's a scene where I could talk about him all day. Shit. There's a scene where he and Lay are in a practice room and they're both playing the guitar, and Lay is like in a gloomy mood, so he keeps playing like gloomy melodies on the guitar, and Chanyeol is just sitting there like patiently like trying to lift up the beat and play along with him, but Lay keeps making it sad, and that's really funny. So anyway, I watched EXO Showtime after Kpop came out, so that by the time Power came out, I was gone. Oh, yeah. I was just like full, but I already had my Chanyeol pillow. Yeah. Like I was just full on.
I remember that being surprising to me and like feeling like you had turned a corner the day you bought that pillow.
Yeah.
Because there were many other pillows of boys I thought you loved more, and that you like chose the Chanyeol pillow, I felt like said a lot. And what was interesting to me is that after KCON, when we were at the bar, I was like, oh, did you see, like, I was like, oh, you've seen Chanyeol's fuckboy picture that came out yesterday, right? And you hadn't seen it yet. So I was like, oh, she really does love him. To explain this, on a reality show, he's the worst. He was like waiting in the van for the other members, and he goes, oh, look, it's 7 a.m. And he holds up his phone to the camera, and the background of his phone is the thirst trappiest picture you have ever seen. He's like shirtless in the gym with his pants pulled down as
He's
far
not
as
in the
they
gym.
can.
He's in the practice studio.
Sure.
The clouds are behind him.
Oh, yeah, that's true. But he's like naked as he could be. And that's what he set the background of his own phone to. And then he's like, oh, what time is it? Oh, look at this. He
Did I happen
loves
to
himself.
show? That is on
One of the things you love
That's
about
one
him,
of the
I'm
things
sure.
I love about him. I'm going to talk more about that in a minute. Fucking Chanyeol. He's such a jerk. Like, he's just such a jerk. Fans of Chanyeol have a name for it when he acts that way. It's called Loey.
Yes, which
because
he has tattooed on his own finger.
I would like to say, you said she has. I don't have that tattooed on my finger.
I'm sorry. I said which he has.
He has the name Loey tattooed on his finger, which is his fuckboy persona.
I said which he. I did not say she.
I don't have a Chanyeol tattoo. I just want to I have a pillow.
Yes.
Not a tattoo.
So y'all backwards is Loey.
Yeah, Chanyeol. Anyway, so I'm truly not sure how or why I fell for him. I just did.
You just did.
But one of the things I do love the most is the way he stands himself and EXO.
Yeah.
I mean, I like to say that nobody loves Chanyeol the way that Chanyeol loves Chanyeol, because it is true.
Yeah.
Like, I remember watching an episode of Happy Together, which was from the Monster era, and it has Chanyeol, Suho, and Chen on it, just the three of them. And it's just like an interview show, but there's a moment where he goes on and on and on about essentially how handsome he is, and how, like, when he was in high school, everybody thought he was handsome, and he, like, watched the Growl video like 1,000 times
just to see the one second where he's so handsome.
and he goes on, and at the end of it, Suho is like, I'm so embarrassed by you right now. And I was dying. I was smitten. Suho was embarrassed, and I was smitten. I don't know why. I love the way he loves himself. I also love the way that he, like, is a true and sincere fan of EXO and all of his members. He has a really adorable video of himself watching Lay's lose control. Mm-hmm. It's like a reaction video, and it's really cute. He's just, like, so supportive. He's really active on social media, which I appreciate and also detest, because I detest.
Because he'll be like, oh, here's a picture of nothing, but, like, oh, I got a new tattoo.
Yeah.
Like, that's the focus
or he's like,
of the...
oh, do you want to see what time it is? Here are my abs. Like, so he's so soft and squishy one minute, and then he's, like, demonically sexy to the point that it both hurts and infuriates me.
Yeah.
But I love that about him. I love to hate it. I love to hate him. My favorite eras of him are definitely Power. I love the way that he said, "Ow, yeah." I think his black hair is my favorite, but I do really like the pink cotton candy hair he had in Coco Bop. I love when his hair is long. There's like I didn't send you these pictures because I know you would not support me or agree.
Are they the Manips, that girl who makes the long-haired video?
No, real pictures of him. Real pictures of him with long hair from 2013. And I love a dude in a ponytail. I don't know why. He looks so good with it long. Anyway, long, pushed back. I'm into it. Mm-hmm. Chanyeol, I love you. And I love to hate you.
Oh, how sweet.
You've ruined my life. And I'll never forgive you for it.
That's fair. I don't know what to talk about next. I don't know if I have a bias wrecker. I feel like all of EXO feels like a bias wrecker to me. Like,
because they came in and smashed into our Shawl world.
Yeah. And
we're like, hello, we're here.
And
Pay
EXO is
attention
like
to
an
us.
interesting group because I feel like for me, it's like 8 out of 9 would bang.
Yeah, for sure.
You don't get to know who the one is. I'm not going to tell you. I
But
don't
8 out
want
of 9.
anybody to come after me, but just know
8
that.
out of 9 could get it.
So yeah, that's interesting. I don't know. I don't know what other like.
The only other one I have in my notebook is Mino, so I
Okay.
think we got to dive in.
All right.
It is time.
It's time
to talk
So
about our ultimate
bias, who is Shiny Mino, Chaeminho, Choi Mino, however you want to say it.
Well, now that I know that it's actually pronounced Che, I'm like never going to say Choi again.
I know, but that's how it is here in English-speaking countries. You say Choi.
I hate it though. Like I hate the way that the romanization of names have been so inaccurate for so long that it makes something like Cheja be spelled like Choisa.
Yeah.
That's
it's
so stupid.
weird.
Chemino.
Yes, that's his name. That's our dear, and I love him. So we gotta go back.
First time ever I saw your face.
Did you like that sound cute? That's good, right?
Dead. You're just the preparation.
Because I have a lot to say. Because I feel like, again, I'm very loyal, and the first time was it. Like my love for Mino is like it's truly love at first sight. It did not take any time for him to grow on me. I didn't like see him and then suddenly notice him one day. First time ever I saw his face, which was on We Got Married. I rewatched it this morning. My computer has been broken for a super long time, and I had like a cache of all of these K-pop videos or like reality shows and stuff that are now hard to find because so many years have passed and they've all gotten taken down. And I thought they were lost forever, but they're not lost forever. So it's very exciting. But he showed up on We Got Married when Taemin was married to A Pink's Noun. Mino and Key were like coming over for dinner, and Taemin and Noun like are making dinner, and they're like nervous, and they're like knocking on the door, and they like won't go open the door. So Key and Mino just open the back sliding glass door and just come into the house, and it's like, and they're acting very incensed, and they're like, "Why didn't you answer the door?" And they have their shoes on, and Taemin's like, "Take your shoes off," and they're like, "Shoes aren't important. Like you didn't even answer the door for us."
Just relentlessly older brothering, giving him a hard time.
And he had like brown honey colored hair, and he's wearing a red sweater and white pants and like a beautiful trench coat. And he was just the most beautiful thing I'd ever seen. And in that situation, I felt like him and Key have the upper hand in that entire interaction. Like, Taemin completely like loses all sense of himself like the minute that they walk in. He's like so embarrassed.
All
he
sense
can't.
of he like forgets where he is and who he is and how to speak. He just like becomes a shell of a person.
Yeah, and the entire time like Mino's just like, you know, like giving him a hard time about it and just being like, "Why are you talking to me? Like, go stand next to your wife. Like, what are you doing?" And there was just like this very like LOL, like virgin, like nah, like kind of thing about it. And he seemed so like confident and cool, and he's so tall. And I was just like I was so attracted to him, just like right off the bat. And it's just really funny that the initial thing that attracted me to him was this like situation where he was like being very like boss. And like, I know that is like he's almost never like that. Like, that's kind of the opposite of like who he actually is, which is like really funny to me. That's like the version of him I like fell in love with first before I like found all of the other many Minos that he is.
Yeah, I would say, I mean, he's definitely not never cool and
Not
confident.
never.
But the amount of times that he is also like soft and kind and like tenderhearted, maybe outweigh that, or
Yes.
even just being goofy, like a
Yeah.
silly goofball.
He was incredibly shy when they first debuted. Like, he almost never spoke, and he had like this there was like if you watch videos from like their first couple years, there's like a constant fear in his eyes. Like, he just wasn't comfortable with it yet.
Yeah.
And he's really like grown into himself as a person. And I also think that he tends to hang out with and like spend a lot of time with people who are older than him, which we've brought up before is like important in the social hierarchy. So I think he's more often in the little brother getting teased role than in that episode of We Got Married where he gets to be the older brother. And like,
I think a part of his initial shyness when he debuted too, and was that he was cast because of his face.
Yeah.
He was not cast in Shiny because of his dance or his vocal abilities. And so I think that probably made him a little bit shy in the sense that like it might be better for me to keep my head down because these my other members, like, they are so talented and I am working very hard to catch up with them, but like allowing them to sort of be featured more because they're the ones in a sense at the beginning, like carrying the group. That's
very true. Okay. So because this is an ultimate bias that we share, before I start listing the reasons that I love him, how did I know it was my fault, but how did I get you on board with this? If you remember.
Don't know. I'm not sure. I know what made me fall for him. I'm not sure what I first saw him in. I think it might be We Got Married. I don't remember. I just know that you showed me something that was like, I am obsessed with this boy. Look at him.
I feel like I want to believe that I sent you one of his solo stages where he takes his clothes off, where he's doing like a Chris Brown song or like
I
one
know he
of
does
those.
Usher.
He does turn up the music. It was like one of those, and he always loses a shirt by the end of it. And I feel like I sent, like, it was like I was getting to this thing and I love Shiny, and then it was like I sent you. So it could have been
that. I don't really
like
remember. But the thing that made me fall for him was Hello Baby.
That's on my list too.
Hello Baby, I literally drew in my notes heart eyes times infinity, because Mino plus children makes me soft and weak in the way that he is honestly and truly the only man I would agree to have children with. Childbirth freaks me out. I have no desire to go through it, but if it meant that I could spend the rest of my life watching him with children, I would do it.
Yeah.
I would do it for him.
That was me too, because there's a really, really specific moment in an episode where they've brought their baby.
Oh, let's explain. Hello Baby is
yeah.
a variety show in which a child, either an infant or a toddler, is essentially like given to this group, and a group has to like take care of this kid. Like, didn't A Pink have like an infant? that
No,
they had to
Girls'
take care of?
Generation had a small baby.
Shiny had like a 2-year-old toddler that they would like meet up with every like once a week or like once a month or whatever, and like they would have to take care of this kid.
Yeah, so there's one episode where they're at one of the TV stations doing their music show things, like they always do, and they're taking the kid around to like different rating rooms, and all the other like all the girl groups are like squealing over the babies, and like all the members of Kara are like looking at Mino and they're like, he looks like your son, and he's like, I know, and like it's really
that
really
little
adorable.
baby did actually look
like
a
him.
lot like Mino in a weird way, and like Mino, because he's so sweet and he's so good with kids, like he would carry him around a lot.
Yes.
So like this little kid, what is the kid's name?
Yugun.
Yugun. I couldn't remember if it was Yugun or Yugum. He's in Mino's arms for like a lot of this particular episode.
Yes. And then the specific moment is he's been carrying the kid around like all day, and they're hanging out in the hallway, and then finally someone yells and they're like, Mino, you have to go on stage, or like you have to go. You need to be in your makeup chair. And he tries to like leave the baby with one of the like assistants, and he's screaming and he's crying and he like doesn't want to go to anybody. And like Mino leaves and the kid is like freaking out. And then he came back, like probably disobeying a manager in the process and like getting in trouble. He comes back to like pick the baby up, and he's just screaming, and he like takes him downstairs and he's like, oh, I won't leave you again. And the moment when when he wiped the tears off of his fat chunky baby face. Like, oh my God, I was done. I was done forever.
Yeah, I wrote down that specific moment and also the moment where there's a really cute scene where Yugun comes in and he like wakes up all the members, and then Mino scoops him up and they go brush their teeth together.
God, yes.
And Mino's holding him in his arms and they're looking in the mirror and he's teaching him how to brush his teeth.
Yeah. And it's really
And my uterus does a somersault and like withers and dies inside of me because holy shit.
yeah.
It's so attractive.
Yeah, I know it's hard to deal with, but he's only like 17 in that.
He's really
too.
young and he has his like anime mullet hair and I don't even care.
I don't even care.
I love it.
More things. I love so many things about
I have another one that
Mino.
you're really going to love.
Okay.
So I also remember he was on a show called Dream Team, which is like a kind of like an obstacle course style.
It was like athletic,
like
kind of athletic
competition
competitions.
thing. But there's one obstacle, I guess, one game that they have to do where the idols, they get paired up, like all of the members of the team get paired up, and boy and girl. And so the girl has to climb on, like piggyback onto the boy, and then the boy has to hold on with his arms and his legs onto this like bar, essentially, and they're hanging over a pool. And the point is to hang on the longest, right? So the guy is hanging like a monkey on the bar, and the girl is hanging like a backpack on the boy. And Mino hangs on for quite a while, but there's a camera attached to the bar right above them. And there's a moment where he knows he can't hang on any longer. But he's so casual, doesn't look stressed, doesn't look in pain. He just knows he can't do it anymore. So he tells the girl, look at the camera, and they both smile, and he does a little peace sign, and then he just lets go, and they fall into the pool, and oh boy.
Yeah.
That smile.
That smile.
That smile.
It's my medicine. Like
It lights
seeing
up
him
the
smile.
whole world.
On that same topic, here's his laugh. I'm so sorry. I'm not sorry.
That's from when Sean Young falls on the floor, isn't it?
It is. He has a really, really, really good laugh.
I love
so
his laugh.
funny.
It's such a crazy cackle. It almost sounds...
like when he really gets it going. It's so funny.
Oh, I love it. I love it so much. Okay, so do we want to talk about fave looks, or do we want to talk about why we love him?
I guess we can do some faves before we finish up like all the reasons that we love him.
Okay.
You go ahead.
I would say that there are very few looks on him that I don't like because, as we said, ultimate bias is someone that like he's your favorite.
It's very
he or she is your
unconditional.
favorite regardless. But I truly hate when they give him baby boy super short bangs, like in Lucifer.
Yeah.
And I did not like when he had his blue gray hair for like a hot minute
I hated
during
it too.
Shiny World 5. But I will say my favorite, hands down, blonde View Mino is a gift.
Yep, that's what I wrote too. Odd era Mino is goals. It like ultimate.
He's
there's no
so
more.
buff. He's so beautiful. His hair is pushed back,
Hair looks sexy. Pushback.
and Jesus,
Take the wheel.
because I have lost my mind.
Yeah.
I don't give a fuck. I like his white hair. I like
know
his
you
one
did.
of one white hair.
I didn't.
I did. I was into it. And I also love, of course, the honey brown
Yeah.
that is on my shirt.
Yeah. Ooh, so pretty.
Mino in glasses.
Oh, he's
Put
so-
all my favorite boys in glasses and I'll be ruined.
I do love him so much.
Why?
Okay, wait. Before I get into why, I had one other like favorite thing that I pulled out, which is I love his voice. He doesn't get to sing very often.
Yes.
He sings more these days because, like we said, like he was the pretty one, and they taught him how to rap. Things I like. I love. He has speech impediment. Seems like the wrong word, but like he has the very slightest of lisps, but it's a back of teeth lisp. I can't do it. I feel like my mouth isn't shaped the right way, but it's like when he it's not quite that bad, but when he says S sounds, there's like a hiss. I love it. It's just like quirky and I like it. But he gets to sing sometimes, and he's a beautiful singer. But here's my favorite, like, Mino singing, and it like touches me in my soul, and I love it. Here we go.
이렇게 내 눈빛이 날 잠식해 들어간다 그 순간 난 보았다 네가 느낀 상처다 날 향해 넌 힘겹게 웃어 보인다
You can hear the lisp in it.
Yeah, see? It's there. Yeah.
I feel like some people will listen to that and be like, "Meh, he's like singing in it," which is true, but there are very good examples. I'll point out Don't Let Me Go from One of One. He has a very beautiful high note.
No, he has good range, and
Yeah.
I picked like a lower register one just because I just like love the timbre of his voice in it, and I always turn it up in my car. Like I like it so much. Timbre.
The word is pronounced
It's timbre.
Yeah, it is.
Wow.
I kind of have to backtrack and say that that's one of my favorite things about Chanyeol.
I was going to ask, I didn't want to interrupt you, but I was like, do you like his 2-pack-a-day voice or not?
I do.
Yeah.
Like, so Chanyeol is one of the main rappers, or he is the main rapper in EXO, but he does get to sing quite a bit, and he has a really deep voice. He has a deep speaking voice, but he's a really deep singing voice as well. And when he sings, like, I like to sing along with EXO, and when he sings, just like when Mino sings, I don't sing along because I like to hear them, because Chanyeol's voice, like, sneaks underneath my skin and, like, gives me both chills and also warms me like a hug. There's something about it that I just, It's like,
I feel like
it's kind of gritty because he definitely smokes. And like, because in my fall of EXO, I like noticed how when Coco Bop came out, his voice is like a full octave lower than it used to be. And it now has a rasp that was not always there. So I don't love that about him, but I do love the sound of his voice.
Can
Give
I
us an example?
Play a clip of, I think, one of the like, it's overt, but the sexiest like Chanyeol moments in any EXO song.
Okay, but I might melt.
Okay. Here we go.
Oh no.
So listen 수많은 사람들은 너를 향해 천 개의 소원을 말해
Are you dead? She's dead. She's on the floor. I made her die. Yeah.
I'm a mess now. Hold on. Okay, I'm back.
Welcome back. We were talking about Mino.
Yes, let's talk about him instead.
Our glasses, she's so distraught. Oh my God. I'm sorry. I shouldn't have played that, but it's a good example of what a terrible person he is.
Yes, it is.
Okay. Things I love about Mino. There's a copycatness about him, which I think is so funny and might be like a symptom of him being so shy for so long, is that he will outright copy people. Like, if he's walking behind someone who's walking funny, he will start like walking like that. Like, that's a thing he does. But he also has this like social tick that I love, where if somebody starts telling a story, but he doesn't like how they're telling the story, he will just immediately then tell that story again, but like the way he wants it to be told.
Yes, it's so funny. Key loves to call him out for that. Like, Key and Mino's relationship,
Yes.
I think, is like one
It's
of the
really,
reasons
really
I
great.
love Mino so much. Because they're the same age, and so they have a very brotherly, like almost like bickering, loving back and forth.
Yeah, and the fact that the first time I saw him was like tag team with Key, I wonder if that like contributed to it, because they do
Maybe.
have such a good dynamic.
They have an
the two of them.
incredible rapport, the two of them. And I actually mentioned that I wrote down down as one of the reasons that I love him is because he makes me laugh. Like, not only is he gorgeous and sexy and like very talented, but he also just genuinely makes me smile. Like, he's not afraid to make funny faces and look goofy. He's like not a person that like really gets, I mean, he gets embarrassed, but he's willing to be silly. And there's a really fantastic V Live with just him and Key where he goes on that tirade about how great backpacks are.
Yeah, my most popular Tumblr. No, I won't say that. That my Tumblr is secret. Never mind. Cut that out.
He goes on this tirade about how great backpacks are, and he's just like very seriously looking at the camera and is like, there's a time for backpacks, folks, and that time is now.
Yeah. I love when he gets silly. I think the thing I love the most about him is when he's confident. Like, because sometimes you do see that like shy wallflower side of him like creeping through. But I love when he's really confident, which like leads to another thing I love / hate about him, which is how competitive he is. Because I feel like I love him and he's very talented and he's very athletic, but like he's not the best at everything, even though he thinks he's the best at everything.
He certainly tries to be the best.
He definitely
everything.
tries to be the best at everything, and there are things that he's definitely very good at, like running. He's really good at running. But like he'll go on these like competition shows where he like has to be on a team, and it's like other people are like letting him down, and he gets really pouty and he gets really, really mad, which is a thing that Chanyeol does too, and know. So I think you like cranky competitive guys.
I do. On all of the variety shows that I've watched in the past 2 weeks, they keep different variety shows keep saying like, oh, if Mino was here with like we would have to leave. Heechul says something on Knowing Brothers where he's like, we know that if Mino and Yoonho and this other guy that I didn't know are all there at a dinner, we know not to go.
Yeah. I just have so much random crap written down. I love his eye smile, like the wrinkles in the corners of his eyes when he smiles. I love how long he's just so long.
He's very tall. I love when he's sweet and tenderhearted. I love the like SM Town footage of them all on the stage because he will like embrace every person. He is so sweet when he's with his Hyungs. Fanboy Mino is like one of my favorites.
He's as much of a fan of his like fellow artists as anybody.
Yeah,
and it's the cutest.
Such a huge fan of other idols, but also I like to say that no one is a bigger Shawol than Chemino.
Yeah.
Like, he supports SHINee more than he supports anything in this world.
Yeah.
More than any of us Shawols could ever dream to support. Like, he shows up for them on their solo performances. There's like he would go to Jeon Young's radio show all the time just to be there for like emotional support, not even to be a guest on it. He goes to all their shows. He goes to Key's musicals. Like, he's just the best.
He really he was always, and he always has been like the first person to comfort someone who's crying, like on their debut day, like they're getting interviewed after, and like Jonghyun completely melts into tears, and Mino is immediately there to hug him. And he always did it when they were on stage, like because either Key or Jonghyun would always start crying before the end of the show, and Mino is always there to like be the huggy one.
He just like appears out of nowhere and like wraps his big arms, and they just like, because they're smaller than him, so they just like bury their face in his chest and I want to do that. He's
so wonderful, and I feel like in these last couple of months, like I have worried for him and thought about him in a way, like, I don't know, I feel really, really, really bonded to him now. Like, I think about him every day, and I want to know if he's okay every day. And he, like, during Jong's funeral, like, he was the one at the funeral parlor greeting everyone at the door and walking them out at the end. Like, he's so strong, and he just the way that he like embraces and loves the people around him is like so beautiful to me.
It's very genuine.
Yes, there's just like a real love about him that I feel like can't
There's a
be.
wholeheartedness to him that he puts his entire heart and soul unabashedly into whatever it is he's doing, whether it is something serious and sincere or supportive, or something silly and dumb like a competition where he just like he wants to drink all of the soda first.
Right. And get really mad about it.
And then
like,
get really mad when they say it's a tie.
and another thing that I feel like is proof of like what a good person he is, like down to his core, is I've heard several times from people who like to go drinking with him, is that the drunker he gets, the more polite he gets. That he gets excessively polite when he's really drunk, which I feel like tells you what a good person he is.
That's really cute.
Instead of, because some people turn into like the angry monsters they really are inside, and he is just like the most polite boy.
Because he's just
He's the best.
bestest, and he's sexy.
I love him so much, and I really do appreciate, like, I don't know, we were talking, what seems like, how long has this been going? 3 hours? I don't know where we are
That's not
anymore.
possible.
But at the very beginning of this, we were saying that people think of their biases in different ways, and like, I think Mino checks like all of the boxes for me, because I love to look at him. Like I do love to look at him, but I also really appreciate his talent as an artist, and I like the person that he is when he's not on stage. I feel like, to me, I mean, there's definitely those times where like he's doing those like sexy shirt rippy stages, and I'm just like, who are you? But I feel like the difference between like staged Mino and regular Mino aren't that different.
I agree. I don't think that they're that different. I think you see his true self in everything that he does, harkening back to that like wholeheartedness that I think he brings to his whole life. But I also think that he is a person that like I mean, I want the best, and I just want all of these idols to be happy and healthy and live full lives. But I think he's a person that like I truly just want him to be loved and happy.
And
I think like he's the kind of person that if he came out and was like, "This is my girlfriend," I would be so happy.
yes,
Like I would, if Chanyeol came out and said, "This is my girlfriend," I would be mad.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie.
That's fair.
I would be like, "You son of a bitch."
yeah, no, that's fair.
But if Mino came out and was like, "This is my girlfriend," I'd be like, "Yay, somebody
She's
to hold
perfect.
you!"
Like I don't like, yeah. When he was in that like vague rumors with that stylist who had all those pictures of him on her Instagram, I was like so for it. I was like, God damn it, I
Yeah.
hope she's his girlfriend.
or when
like,
he and Yuna went to like a fashion week in
and
Paris or something.
the reporters
recently.
were like writing them as like a couple in the paper, like whatever.
Yeah.
I don't care. I
I'll
just want.
do it.
I'm
here
which is
for
like
it.
really interesting. This is like a weird thing to talk about, but like I dream about him a lot. But I feel like the way that I dream about him like really shows how I feel about him, because anytime I've ever like had dreams about him, it'll be like we're at like a theme park, or we're like at the movies, or we're like at school, and all I want is to just like stand near him, and like maybe our like hands will like brush and we'll like almost hold hands, and then I'll just like giggle. There's like a very innocent, almost like middle school like crush in the way that he like appears in my dreams. Like I've never ever had a filthy dream about him. Just like precious ones. And like I love it. I love it. I have a framed picture of him on my desk, which it's the only picture in a frame on my desk is a framed picture of him. You have framed pictures of him in your house.
On my wall, amongst all of my family members. But I also have a framed picture of Chanyeol.
Yeah, because they're like family to us.
I have more pictures of Mino in my house than I do of Chanyeol,
That's
but
something.
I do have one of him. But also I have a pillow of Chanyeol that sleeps in my bed every night,
So that's that. Okay, we've really been going. This is going to be the longest episode we've ever done by like a million. So I feel like we got to stop ourselves.
not sorry.
I'm not sorry either, but I feel like we gotta stop ourselves and just like, these are the people that we like love so much, and I feel like all K-pop fans have people that they feel this way about, and I hope that it was okay that y'all had to listen to us talk about these. I hope you found it interesting, but we did. I just needed to get all of these feelings out, and Angelica wrote so much crazy stuff in her book, so I think she's gonna take a picture of it for Instagram so you can see like what fangirl
What a
scribble
lunatic I
madness
am.
looks like. But anyway, thanks for sticking through. We'll be right back with that random game.
Come on, Chanyeol.
Okay, we are back. And this week we got a boy group, a hip hop boy group.
A quartet named MIB, which stands for something I just forgot. Most Incredible Busters.
Yeah.
Not Men in Black.
Nope, not Men in Black. They debuted in 2011, but it says on their Wikipedia that their entertainment company started investing in them in 2009 and spent 1.7 million USD like putting this group together.
Yeah, they're from a company that I'm not familiar with. It's called Jungle Entertainment. So I wonder if they're more of like a hip hop oriented group, company. This group disbanded in 2017. They had several albums, it seems, and like to moderate to large success. They have they have 3 Korean members and 1 Japanese member. One of their Korean members is named Young Cream, which I find gross.
Yeah. The other ones are 5 Zeke, Sims, and then the only member of this group like that I knew of outside of this group, his name is Kangnam, and that's his Korean name. He's the Japanese member. He's on TV a lot. Like he gets to host TV shows or whatever. So I like knew him from that.
Yeah, you knew his face.
But I don't know if I've ever heard any of their music before.
I don't think I have.
It looks like their most popular video that we will be watching is called Bounce. Chisa Bounce. So let's see what that's all about.
Here we go. Okay. Slow motion twirling in a room filled with smoke. A dark, empty room filled with smoke.
Chisa Bounce.
Their suits look like sticks of gum.
Yeah, they're like red and green and blue.
This kind of has a Target effect to their sets.
Yeah.
With the super bright colored walls.
Oh, shit.
A lot of buildup in this song.
It's been a long time. I'm so dirty and master things, you know.
Oh.
Have you?
Excuse me.
Okay, one of them has really bad braids, but is doing like a cute science experiment. I hope that's not one of those terrible hats with the braids attached to it. I hate those.
Is it worse to have real braids? Nope, they look real. He turned the hat around.
They're both bad. I just don't like it when K-pop idols have cornrows and braids.
Cultural appropriation isn't cool, guys.
Oh, one of them is in a straitjacket. The plot of this music video is very odd.
Yeah. Oh, the other members. Oh, they're Men in
Men in
Blacking him.
Maybe he's supposed to be an alien because he has weird snake eyes. Kind of like the song. Stop bounce.
Zik, 아야. 눈이만 가져도 비키셔. 해마비 나온다니까 지켜. 근데 VIP 룸에 BB의 립스틱 바른 남자들은 꺼져요. 고민을 낳고 꼬리를 물고서 낮추질 않지. 그런 나쁜 생각들 고이 모아놓고 주장 못해 팔도로 갔어 비벼. 작년에 왔던 내 맘이 다 죽지도 않고 또 왔네.
Suit change.
죽지도 않고 버텼네. 싫으면 싫다 해. 그래도 우린 또
Okay, they definitely are harkening back to this Men in Black with the like memory erasers.
The lyrics are like specifically about them as a group. Like, we've endured through all the other K-pop songs. Like, if you don't like us, just say it. Like, they're just talking about they're talking about MIB.
All right. It bothers me that in one of the sets, two of them are wearing red suits, one of them is in white, and one of them is in blue. Because the reds are not exactly the same, and in every other scene, they've each had their own color.
Oh.
It seems dumb.
And I also, those look like the exact suits that 2PM's wearing in the My House video. Like they took them from the same closet. They look the same.
It's possible. I feel like K-pop outfits appear on multiple idols.
Ooh, I wonder if this is Digipetty. There's an animal head and they're in like a colorful room. Oh, all right.
That was kind of an abrupt ending, but all right.
MIB, Choose a Bounce. There you go.
That was that.
Well, they're not a group anymore, but it looks like they have some more fun, dancey hip hop music like that for you.
Yeah, I didn't hate the song.
No, that was good.
I didn't love the video. It was kind of boring,
Yeah.
but the song was fun.
Yeah. All right. Well, thanks for enduring through this our longest episode ever. I'm sure that we will never beat it. Okay, so that was our bias episode. It was a lot. I've sweated through my Mino shirt like with all of my feelings. So recommendations for this week. What do I want my recommendation to be? My recommendation is a random performance from long ago. I will look up where it is exactly so that I can tell you. But this was like, I'm thinking of it because it was like a Mino moment for me. And it's a cover of Shiny doing Sorry Sorry by Super Junior. I want to find out like exactly where it was at so I can tell people what to look for. It was at Korean Music Wave in Bangkok Live. It's quite old. It's a bit old, but yeah. Everybody looks real good. It's honey hair Mino.
Yeah. And he sings in it.
Yes, he does. So that's my recommendation. I love that video. What's yours?
Mine is also perfectly corresponding song or performance because mine is a video from a show called Immortal Song, which is basically a show in which current pop stars and groups go onto the show and redo or like do a cover of an iconic Korean song. And so EXO has been on there a couple of times. I'm going to recommend the video that brought me to tears this morning, which is it's called Immortal Song 2. It is specifically Chen and Baekhyun, and the song is called Really I Didn't Know. It is a perfect example of perhaps my number one reason that I love Jongdae so much, which is his voice. Like, he's such an incredible singer that his voice sends me to the moon. And Baekhyun is a great singer too, but I'm not in love with Baekhyun. Chen and Jongdae, same person, just flutters my heart, so much. And I love this. I love this song.
It's a beautiful recommendation.
It's a ballad. It will, if you're soft and weak like me, it will make you cry.
We do have this episode has left me with a very soft heart. So
we're soft people that have a lot of feelings. So be nice to us.
A lot of feelings. Well, if you have feelings about your biases that you want to send us, I want to see pictures of people's biases, like your favorite picture of them. So send those to us, and you can send them to us, AMA Kpop Pod on Twitter and Instagram, amakpoppod.tumblr.com for all of our links. And if you want to send us along, email amakpoppod@gmail.com. We love to hear from you.
If you have any silly bias merch, I want you to take a picture of yourself with it and send it to us because we're going to be posting silly pictures of us with our silly
and
bias
I'll take pictures of the frame picture on my like all of these things. So if you have things like that, if you have like a shrine to your bias somewhere in your room, like please send
I'll
me
take a picture of my special chair in my house.
Yeah. Angelica has like a slight like Mino shrine. As of the day that this episode is coming out, we still have 10 days until we're going to that K-pop festival, which is plenty of time to Amazon Prime more glow sticks. So if you want to participate in our fan project, we are buying glow sticks to represent Red Velvet, Rain, EXID, B2B, and NCT 127 while they are at this festival. And we've already got a ton of glow sticks, and we can get even more if you guys want to help.
$1 buys 3 glow sticks.
3 glow sticks. So, and I've already got a couple hundred, so we're we're doing it. And it'll be really fun, and you can know that you contributed to some K-pop joy, which is always fun. So I don't know what we're going to be talking about next week, but I bet it will be good, whatever it is. So
I guarantee you it won't be as long.
yeah, I can. That will be our apology. Is next week we'll make sure that it's kind of short. But if you listened all the way to here, bless your heart. Thank you so much. Anyway, that's it. We'll see you guys next week.
Bye.
Bye. Jonghyun, your inspiration.